All right, check. I think our mic is working. Windows reset a bunch of my stuff again.
But more importantly, our hair is working. We got haircuts yesterday.
That is true, we did. It's a little crooked.
My hair was down to my butt. And while cool in theory, it was really annoying.
Oh.
Hi, Seven.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. Justin got a haircut too.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much they cut off. Apparently it was like...
It was down
here.
Yeah.
That's what quarantine will do to you.
Sure will. I feel kind of like a person ready to mingle again.
Oh yeah? Who are you going to mingle with?
People? Yeah.
He also became blind. Well, you missed that.
Oh, right. Yeah, you've been gone for
you can.
some time.
It's like a tree. If you cut the roots, and you look at the circles, you can you can see how long you've missed. Wherever it is, there it is.
Wait, you got a weird piece now. Fix it.
The camera's backwards, I guess. Apparently, I never realized that.
Let me do it. Oh my god, you made it worse.
Oh, it's fucking with me. Oh, so what's going on, Seven?
Doom Guy, hi.
Yeah, Doom Guy showed back up in Discord, and then he's like, I've always been here. And I was like, yeah, but you weren't talking. So were you?
I've always been here, watching.
But it's nice to have him back.
Howdy.
Okay, fair. I know, but you're like 18, so you're out like partying and dating and drinking and I don't know what.
Shh, not drinking.
I don't know what you're doing. I won't tell your mom, don't worry.
Living life.
He says, LOL, I wish. You're out applying to Ivy League schools and studying and writing essays like a rock star.
Yeah, I mean, we just started leaving the house. We hadn't left the house in months prior to May.
That's true.
But we went out to a restaurant for our wedding anniversary, and now we got haircuts.
Last year, we woke up on our anniversary and said, happy anniversary, and then that was it. Moved on. So this year, we figured we were like 3 days from our vaccination being like at 100%, and we're like, all right, this is our first risky behavior. We're going to go to one of our favorite restaurants and have dinner for our anniversary.
Outside.
Yeah.
Like we still sat outside anyways, so...
And we went to Target once.
Oh, that's right. We did go to Target. That was weird.
I thought that was really interesting, though, because normally when you go to Target, you buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. But I think it had been so long that the spell was broken. So we just,
We did buy numerous candles, though, because...
But we went there for candles.
But candles are hard to buy online because you can't smell them.
No.
So that was actually badass, because we were like, yes, now we can get all of the candles we want. This is what your life turns to, by the way, Doom Guy. Buying candles.
Yeah, so party and get drunk now.
At Target. Well, yeah, but this is the time. I've partied so many times already that now it does lose its appeal a little bit.
I did finish my
bars.
whiskey though.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
out.
You're out.
I'm out.
Time to.
I can't work on Doomtrooper anymore till I get more whiskey today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a requirement to work on a game this long is you have to have a bottle of whiskey on your desk.
Oh my god.
Noted.
Speaking of working on the game.
Go on.
You want to talk? What have you been working on, Justin? You've added a lot of cards. You've recommitted to like a schedule of putting cards in the game.
Yeah, I mean it's a little optimistic, but I think it's definitely doable. So as I announced on Steam, we're doing new cards every Friday. So it looks like the minimum will be 3 because there was only 3 this week. But that was because one of the cards exposed a bug in the targeting system that required me to rewrite part of the targeting system. And, so for some of you I know are interested in like the tech side of things, but this is like very light tech. When you drag and drop something in Doomtrooper and you release it, everything you do, or any buttons you click or anything you interact with that would trigger an action goes through this one code path. And the first part of the code path is still really messy. And the second half I have cleaned up. So 50% is better now. But the first half tries to guess what you're trying to do. For example, if you drag a warrior and you release it on top of a warrior, it's going to say, okay, was that first warrior in your squad? And is the second warrior in your opponent's squad? Oh, you must be trying to attack. But if you drag it from your hand to a warrior, then it'll say, oh, you're dragging a warrior from your hand. You must be trying to put him into the squad, but you dragged him on top of a warrior just by accident, or you didn't care. So it like guesses what you're trying to do, and it gets a little more extreme, like adding attachments and stuff. You know, it has to come from your hand. And it's like you could consider it pre-validation. Like before it even goes to the server, it's trying to make sure, like, okay, I know what you tried to do. And it's been the same for 3 years. Like we don't touch that code because every action goes through there. So if I change it and I think it's better, I could have actually broken the whole game. And then the second half says, is this a card that seems to require a target? And if I got a target, let me validate that it's valid before it goes to the server. And if I didn't get a target, let me pop up that UI that lets you choose a target, which you guys are all familiar with. So that part of the code needed to be rewritten so that, and that's 3-4-year-old code too. There's the new shadow hand, which is when you play cards from your hand that are actually in other places, like playing a card from your discard pile or playing a card, like if you're in a combat and you can't see your warriors, but one of your warriors has an ability that can be activated during combat. He now shows up in your hand over to the side in what I've been calling the shadow hand, which I blatantly stole from Magic the Gathering, so feel free to call me out on that. Really great UI idea. And one of the new cards I added, you needed to drag during an interrupt or combat, but it needed to pop up the target select. And that target select only existed in this one block of code as part of playing a normal card. So the shadow card could not access the little target select UI. And that was obviously a problem because many cards in the future will need that when they're played from the shadow hand. So I had to rewrite all that, which took probably a day and a half.
Damn.
But it only had one bug. Apparently I broke power cards. Well, first off, I pushed it to be a beta tested and for a day and a half. And people tested it, said it worked. Then I pushed it live, then we found a bug, which is unfortunate. But I broke art spells cast during combat that don't have a target, basically. And it's because I had code like this, and when I rewrote it, I switched the order, and that code was getting hit before the target was selected. So it was like, oh, I don't have a target, and it would just cancel. So 3 cards this week. They're live now. They went live on Friday. But what I'm leaning towards is putting them live on Friday and announcing it in Discord, then formally announcing it on Monday so that we have the weekend to find any issues with you guys and some of the diehard players that will test it for me.
Put Doggo on the screen. Oh, I meant the little screen.
No, I don't have a button for that.
What?
Put Doggo on the screen, she says.
But little.
Okay.
And
Julie, talk then.
You always do. Come on, when he's
Nope,
up in
talk.
the corner. I don't have a lot to say. Whoa.
Well, you've interrupted me, so you gotta take over.
No, I already talked about us getting our hair cut. All right, abort mission. I don't know why this is so difficult. Doggo, doggo, doggo.
Boop. There. Now we have Doggo. This week, though, I actually anticipate hitting kind of the maximum number of cards that I'll ever be able to put in.
Which is 5?
No, it's actually more. So I'm looking at cards. Oh, I closed my window. Damn it. I'm looking at cards that play off of the fix that I did for the target select. Because that fix was for one card, but it actually affects a lot more, and I can leverage that to get them in a lot quicker since I've already made the change. So off the top of my head, it looks like maybe Battle Madness, Martial Training, Invoke Pain, Cohesive Ecor, Dizzying Aura, and possibly Gust of Hesitation and Explosion. Maybe Envision Conflict. I don't
Gust of Hesitation.
All of those have a very similar thing where you have to choose an amount of destiny to spend during combat.
Balfour. That is so sweet. Oh my god. Thank you.
Thank you, Balfour.
Wow. Damn, dude. You're always so supportive. It's nice.
Yeah, I love Balfour. I'm not getting alerts when you go live, though. I think maybe I accidentally turned off notifications, so I will have to rectify that. Assuming you're still going live. Yeah, so my main focus is adding new cards right now, which means I might bring back some smaller programming streams. Just kind of while I'm adding cards, I'll just turn on the Twitch stream and hang out.
We definitely need to get you some more alcohol.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your prime consumption?
OBS? Come on, bro. What are you doing?
Everything's giving you a lot of problems today, I feel like.
Well, I upgraded. I think I may have talked about this. I upgraded to Windows Insider build because I use a thing called WSL2, which is Windows Subsystem for Linux, which means inside Windows, Linux is also running. And that means I can use a Linux command line and a Linux applications while I'm inside Windows, which what that means in layman's terms is this badass gaming rig that I always seem to, love building and stuff that normally sits here all day not getting used can now be used for my main development, which gives me the GPU, the CPU, all the RAM, all my monitors, everything for developing instead of working on a laptop. So it's great, but the Insider build added the ability to natively run Linux apps in Windows, meaning when I start Doomtrooper from Linux, it shows up in Windows, and you can Alt-Tab, you can minimize it, the graphics are there just like it's a Windows app, but it's actually running from Linux, which makes development a lot easier. I was hacking it before so I could do it, but this is native from Microsoft. But more importantly, it fixed audio. So I can now, if there's sounds you don't like, I can now fix those because I haven't been able to hear the game during development for over a year, which is embarrassing. Seven, what are you saying about WSL2? I think you're saying Velociraptor, but I'm not sure exactly how that translates to English.
What is in the mouth of the... Oh, I think it's just all
so yeah, Battle Madness. You'll see a trend here. Play on your combatant. That's the first trend. Until the end of combat, for every 1 point you lower the base armor, your base fight increases by 2. Let's see, Martial Training. Whoops, I can't spell. Martial Training. For every 2 destiny this warrior spends during combat, its fight is increased by +1. So another trend. It's a destiny slider during combat. Invoke Pain is Dark Symmetry. For every 1D you spend, one chosen warrior may not, or for every 10D you spend, one chosen warrior may not attack next turn.
Oh, wait. There's so much. Okay. You might be doing a quick trip to LA next weekend. What? Team full vax. Nice. Hit us up. I don't think anything's happening. You mean the weekend that's coming up? I don't think we're doing anything yet. Hi, Chris. Hype for Team Full Vax. It's 11 in the morning, and you've already been up a million billion hours, which is cray.
Seven says he saw the GUI thing. Yeah, so I am running it. FYI, when they first announced it, it didn't work. If you had multiple monitors with some vertical, some horizontal, it would just not work at all. So I got on the thread on GitHub and helped report the issue. And the dudes on there, and I say dudes because I think they were all male, but I say dudes because dudes in California is non-binary and non-gender conforming. Girls can be dudes, guys can be dudes. There's no such thing as a dudette as far as I'm concerned.
I never enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, dudes are dudes. So anyways, the WSLG, which is the graphics people, those dudes are super cool. It's super nice. I told them that I use it for game development, and not only did they fix the bug, but they asked what the game was. They wanted to know what I was working on. I was like, wow, most people on GitHub issues are like, shut the fuck up and stop reporting bugs. And this guy's like, thank you so much for the bug. What's the game? And I'm like, yeah.
Whoa.
And the funny twist is that it's Microsoft. Microsoft is giving me warm fuzzies, and I don't like it. It's so weird. Yeah, Balfour definitely hit us up. I don't know how Julie feels about it yet, but we do now have a sleeper sofa. So if our friends are in town and they need a place to stay for free, we do have a way to offer that finally. So that's super exciting.
We have a way to offer that.
Doom Guy said he really likes the Destiny. That deserves a coffee.
Yeah, whoa.
So you can thank Willow. I don't think she's here today,
Oh no,
but
yeah, I don't see them.
Willow redid our icons, including
they're not here.
So there's fight, shoot, and armor that are slightly tweaked. She added value, destiny, and promotion, so that we're able to start finally cleaning up the text of the cards, which is great.
That's right. I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago on stream. Yeah. So all of those icons have been redone.
So Dizzying Aura, for every 2 destiny, its enemy is -1 to fight and shoot. Gusts of Hesitation. For every 5D, discard 1 random card from opponent's hand. That is going to get you guys real angry. Explosion, for every 3D spent during combat, +5 to fight and shoot till end of combat.
Wow.
Seems a little OP compared to the other ones.
That's powerful.
Envision, conflict needs art.
Ooh,
But for every
it
1D you spend, your combat gains +1 to armor until combat is over. And I think that's it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that will probably go really quick.
What even is that placeholder art? It's like...
That's not art. That's no art. So see the red background?
Oh,
so that's you're seeing
it's
through
part of the layered file. Okay. I was just trying to figure out what it was.
And then hopefully you'll get time to finish this, which got cut from this last Friday. Immediately after equipment card is about to be discarded, this warrior may discard this card to give the equipment to any warrior.
Howdy, Thorgal.
Yeah, Thorgal.
So we were talking about you before the stream because you came to stream like 3 weeks ago and you were like, I have pneumonia, and then like for your own personal issues or reasons you haven't really been around, and I was like,
yeah, we thought you were dead.
I was like, oh my god, is he dead? Like, is he okay? Like, he had pneumonia and like then he disappeared. So I'm really glad that you're fine. We think about you guys.
Yeah. FYI though, there's a rule, and I'll just say this publicly and I'll call him out for it. If you join Discord and you're a really great community member and then you vanish, and then for like a long time, like with no announcement, and then like vanish, like leave the server, whatever, and then you show back up again and you dive in again and then you vanish with no notice, I tend to give you stay in my heart with 1, maybe 2 vanishes. After that, I just have to stop worrying because it's just too emotional. And I'll call out Kurikara because he now, I don't mind that he doesn't want to play Doomtrooper, but he's left. He Irish goodbyes. Like, he'll come in and talk a whole bunch and be like, I love you guys, and then
bye.
And then he actually leaves the server, and I'm just like, bro, come back, I love you. But
thank you, Balfour, for gifting subs. That's awesome. If you vanish, Justin will find you, Liam Neeson style.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. Oh, so I forgot, and I'm prepared to talk about the Brian Winter interview. I think do you have more cards to get through?
But that was the end of the current. Yeah, basically that this week should have up to 10 cards, which is exciting.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And the only other thing I was gonna, well, I'll finish my thought and then you can do your thing.
All right.
I was gonna say, so this is the cards stuff.
The card stuff.
Yeah. So.
Oh, the Kanban board.
Yeah, there are 270 cards in game right now, which is fun.
That's a lot.
You'll see, as soon as I add the triggered combat system, I'll immediately add 6 cards, so that'll be a nice update.
Boom.
As soon as I fix the ability to have non-Brotherhood warriors cast art spells, there looks like 6 cards. Changing the ability to see like what your opponent has in their hand and stuff will immediately add 8 cards. And then this will be a great update. As soon as I add the post-combat... Bye, Balfour. The post-combat interrupt phase, so you can play cards immediately after combat, I'll add 13 cards. So those will be really big updates as well. But it looks like this Destiny slider update was bigger than I thought, adding 9 9 or so cards. So there will be some big updates when some foundational features are added. And then FYI, it looks like 20 cards here are technically appear to be ready to be added, plus 15 that I've approved to be ready to be added. So that's 35 cards over the next 3 or 4 weeks that'll get added very quickly. All right, you're up.
Okay. So we didn't even know this was happening, but we are super excited about it. So CCG history, they did an interview with Brian Winter. It's a pretty long interview too. The link that I've just put in the chat is an hour in. It starts at like 56 minutes in because that's when Brian actually starts talking about our version of Doomtrooper. But the whole interview is really interesting. But yeah, so it was really exciting because
let's just take a quick second to look at his hair.
Brian's hair is so long there.
Look at this rock star, man. Like, what? When I saw him, he had, like, no hair. Like, short. And now he and I are, like, twinsies. So, that's fun.
I mean, well, especially before you got yours cut.
Right.
But, yeah, so it's... Brian Winter is a lot of things, but he's a really nice guy. Which is so cool.
He's a lot of things.
Like, he's amazing.
He's handsome.
Built the whole freaking game that we're here talking about. And plus others, of course. But it was... We've touched on some of these things that sometimes it's rewarding, but also difficult to take an IP that's existing and make changes to it, right? Because people, and this is true, I think, with comic book movies or anything, like, people are going to be upset by the changes that you've made. And, you know, some people are quite vocal about their unhappiness with us, but and some people ask why did you do this? What was really cool is in this video he talks about how Justin and Steve went. Steve, you're here. Yeah, you are. You're lurking. They went to his house in Wisconsin and they sat down and they made all these initial plans with him. Brian was very excited actually about some changes because some mistakes were made. I think it's funny. There's a thread on Twitter where he even says there's 2 cards that have the wrong name. Things like that once things get printed, like, there's nothing you can do.
By the way, it's Billy and Heretic. So the art for the Heretic is actually Billy, and the art for Billy is just a generic Heretic, so they were swapped.
I'm gonna go to Twitter here. But he talks about that. He talks about how he was actually really excited to make changes, and that Justin and Steve were even like, I don't know, and Brian was like, trust me, this is gonna be great if we do this. So yeah, it's really kind of cool, but it was really nice just because I feel like he gave, like, his full support to everything that is being done here. And yeah, I think you guys should definitely check it out. Like I said, it's a really...
And again, the hair. Look at that hair. Okay, I'm done.
So I'm going to throw this in chat.
Yeah. I mean, it was really cool because he's been really busy. He opened a second store, so he hasn't been as involved with the later stages of the balance beyond the initial. And I was worried that he was going to get up there and be like, Julie was too. We were both like, oh, what is he going to say? Like, he was going to say, like, I can't speak for what they're doing now. They're ruining my game. I knew he wouldn't say that. But, like, you have that fear, that imposter syndrome.
I was sitting there, like, waiting.
And he said something along the lines of, like, that they've made a lot of great changes and, really know what they're doing. And at some time you have to just, like, let them run with it, because maybe the fans know more than the guy who made it, etc. Like,
George Lucas.
He said the really nicest things. So we're really excited. We did kind of talk on Twitter a little bit, but I'm hoping that as the base set gets completed with this current card push, that we'll get him to come back and offer some high-level changes. Like, really what I want to do, somebody pointed this out in Discord, like, if you look at Brotherhood especially and Algaroth, they have a good number of warriors, a good number of attachments, good number of support, good number of fate, and then a whole bunch of power cards. But then you look at Imperial, who has the former but no power cards. So there's like this balance of power where Brotherhood and Algaroth have more strategies, more cards, more power. And I'm hoping that he can come in and help a little bit with that. Like, how do we game design that the right way without just adding tons of cards or removing tons of cards? Because there'll always be the case that some factions have powers and some don't. But I don't know what that means in terms of a very high level balance. Like, low level, we can just keep throwing things at the wall to see what stick. But he might look at it and be like, oh, it's easy. From a very high level, just tweak this to this. And we'll be like, genius.
Will you click on the Twitter link? I just want to show the card art that we were talking about a second ago that was switched. It's a little down in the thread. Yeah. So that's
Billy, and that's a heretic, apparently.
There you go.
Which is hard for me to see because I remember the classic games.
It's too late for this one, Brian.
Yeah.
Flana, what's up, bro? Yeah, so we were so excited. Hi, Augie.
Augie52.
But yeah, we were really excited about this interview, and I mean, Brian has worked on so many games, so he talks about Cult and The Crow
and James Bond.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on there. Dark Eden.
So yeah, it's still. I mean, it's no secret that we're hoping that enough of you guys will support Doomtrooper as a game, as a product, as a company, and we can please the powers that be, which Fred, Jay, Rui, and Lawrence are their wonderful names. If we can please them, then we can go back and say, well, we made this amazing tech for Doomtrooper. Let's do Cult. Let's do Dark Eden. And, even someday, let's do Conan the Barbarian. Because that's their main... I don't know if you guys know that, or all of you know that, but the main moneymaker for the Doomtrooper guys is Conan the Barbarian. So they own Mutant Chronicles, Conan, and then like a few other things. But like Mutant Chronicles and Conan are their bread and butter.
And that's definitely what they're pushing right now.
Yeah, so
I feel like there's a lot going on with the
hypothetical blue sky thing would have been years ago, and we could still get there. Would be to finish Doomtrooper, make a smaller version of Cult, maybe as a living card game instead of a collectible card game to make it a little more digestible. Something like pay $10, get the game, get all the cards, get a big single player campaign with multiplayer, and then do the same for Dark Eden, which would be really cool. And by that point, we might have like a 2.0 of the engine where it has more effects, more 3D stuff, that kind of thing, which hopefully we would upgrade Doomtrooper to use. And then we could use that engine to make something like Conan. Would be great. But we're a business technically, Secret Cal level. And
technically. We are a business.
We are
Sorry, you guys.
We are a barely functioning business, but we are a business. And then, but Heroic Signatures, Cabinet Entertainment is a real functioning business, and they own Doomtrooper, and they need to see business results, as I've always said. So as much as I would love to just open source the Doomtrooper engine and like let everybody go crazy with it and have fun, it needs to be a business in some...
We cannot.
And we don't have the rights to do that,
yeah.
And it needs to be a business in some fashion, and that business could lead to future Doomtrooper expansions, like new cards you've never seen, Cult, Dark Eden, Conan, God only knows. So there's a lot of super exciting stuff that the partnerships could bring to us, and I'm excited to see which of them we're able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Julie?
No, I'm good.
I like how you can see the...
Ooh! By followers! Oh my god, thank you. Boop. And by...
I blocked them, but I don't know how to get rid of them. That's really annoying.
Bigfollows.com.
Report? I don't have time to answer all these questions because I'm literally live. Thanks, Twitch.
So many questions.
I want to kick or report them, and they asked me like a giant 20 response question before I can do it. So, if anybody else has mod powers and wants to...
I do, but like... I don't see how to do that. I used to know how to do this.
Yeah, Twitch is hard, guys. I don't even know if he's still here.
I'm
But
done. I did it. I banned them. They're gone.
Did you?
Bye. Bye. Anyways. I'm so sorry if you guys wanted to know how to get big followers.
I tried to mod Flana. I don't know if he's still here. He probably just dropped in and said hello.
That's his style. That's alright. I got it.
No, I know, but Flana is like power hungry. He would love it.
He would love it. He would love it.
Yeah, he could just start banning people left and right.
He's gone. He
it'd be amazing.
Dropped in to say hi and then bounced.
So yeah, the big plan right now is just to get the base set done. That's where we're at, as I've been saying, but we're actually like on that path now. And the number of cards that I'm able to add depends on how much problems we have during the week, how many bugs are reported. Because every time there's a change somewhere to fix a card, it's possible that change could affect something else. We have a lot of integrated unit tests which catch a lot of the issues now, which is really nice. And I've been in the habit of writing unit tests for 8 out of 10 cards that I add. If I get down to a time crunch, I might not have time, but I try to circle back and add it later, which is great because then when you change something from the cards, the rules, or the server, it has a good chance of catching it. But where we don't have tests is the client itself and the interaction. So when there's like a crash or an actual crash without quotes in the client, that's a bigger deal, and I have to fix those. Which one was reported today? Apparently you can't put Cybertronic warriors with augments into cover, which is interesting. So it's always really easy to fix, but it's hard to catch them ahead of time, unfortunately. So that's a bummer.
Major bummer.
And I've also been updating the beta branch a little more. So if you are on the Steam branch and you want to use the beta, I do push out new updates every now and then to the beta branch to try to get some initial feedback to make sure that when it goes a little wider, it has
caught some of the major bugs.
Or at least had people test to make sure there are no bugs before it goes live. So that's something as we grow as a community, I'm going to keep pushing.
Ooh, 1 mile away. Report of man armed with nunchucks.
That's a new one.
That's special. We see a lot of like knives or guns, but
no, we see knives, guns, pipes, 2x4s, machetes. I believe I've seen a golf club.
Not lots.
And what's the other one?
But nunchucks.
Screwdriver. There's been multiple man armed with screwdriver.
You gotta appreciate that this guy has an actual valid weapon, not just like a makeshift weapon, I
mean, what kind of life choices do you make? And sometimes it's not your choice to end up like on the street mentally ill. Like I said, sometimes not your choice, to be clear. But what are those choices that when you end up on the streets and mentally ill, that you own a pair of nunchucks?
So this one's one of the comments. This is on Citizen. Is like, let my man play kung fu, and then someone else is like, these are my 2 corners, and I see nothing of the sort. And okay, this is funny. And then another person's like, I'm here too. I only see one person. Are you the one holding the nunchucks? I'm waving to you. I don't know. Sometimes with Citizen, it's like, is it real? Yeah, I don't know.
So this week we added, if I can even remember, where did I put it? You gonna stop talking now, Jen?
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say,
I can't talk and scroll. You're supposed to help me.
Oh, well, I didn't know. I wasn't ready for you to start scrolling.
No, don't look at the scrolling.
No, I'm watching him scroll.
Oh my god. Talk, please.
I have nothing else to talk about.
Sing a song.
I don't know.
Courtney's here. Talk to Courtney. Never mind, I found it. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
Evasion training went live. Mortis sword. Oh, to be clear, so evasion.
Okay, nope.
Evasion train. I can't stop to drink coffee. You don't know how to talk.
No, you have to drink coffee every
evasion
time you stumble
training.
Like that.
You attach to warriors 3 actions, which I think is too expensive, but I left it as written. For every 2 destiny this warrior spends during combat, its armor is increased by 1. So that's a very powerful ability, but it's too expensive to attach, which is a little annoying. Mortis sword is a lot of fun. So, and this one might actually get a buff to be more powerful. It's a sword that you can basically burn art spells. So you can attach art spells to it that are annihilated. And every time you do that, like thematically, the sword absorbs the power of the art spell and becomes more powerful. So you get +2 attack or fight every spell you attach to it, which I think is really cool. I don't know if it'll be useful, but we might buff it up as well. And then Self-Sacrifice is a support card that is effectively a reusable miscommunication, but you have to annihilate 3 random cards from your hand to do it. So it's an extremely balanced miscommunication, I guess, because you are going to burn through your hand. But it might actually be a good strategy if you're playing a deck that wants to cycle cards, because then you will draw 3 more cards next turn.
Right.
So that's an interesting one. I look forward to see how people are using it.
Courtney says, y'all are looking super cute with your new hair.
See, she knows how to talk to us.
Yeah. My glasses are so crooked, and that's all I see every time I look. I'm like, crooked glasses. How many are left to complete the base set?
We already talked about that, Thorgal.
I mean, you didn't give a hard number though.
So the numbers here, which should be 99% correct, we have 35 that are. We have 20 that are presumably ready to go in. We have 15 that are confirmed ready to go in on top of that. So that's 35 that should be good to go very quickly. We have 270 in the game. We have 4 that need redesign for various reasons. We have 6 that require the ability to automatically trigger combat. For example, I think Misfire is during combat, if somebody has a gun, you can play Misfire and they will immediately shoot another one of their squad mates because their gun misfires. But that means you have to trigger combat automatically with a different warrior, and that's tricky. So we have to add that ability.
Okay, so it was 20, 15,
4, 6 for
6.
triggered combat. 6 require the ability to
6 again.
Yeah, cast spells outside of the Brotherhood. So people casting the art who aren't Brotherhood.
And are we counting 8 and 13 there?
8 are blocked by the ability to see things you're not normally allowed to see, like your opponent's hand. 13 are play immediately after combat.
Oh my god.
Did you do the 13?
Yeah, I did.
Oh. And then there's 13 randoms that just require various things. A lot of them require disabling cards.
Woo, that's 85
like
cards.
all of your factories are disabled until you pay 5 Destiny to reactivate them. So as soon as I add that, we'll add 5 cards to the system right away.
That's a lot of cards. That's 85 cards.
I'd like to reiterate there are 270 in the game right now.
It's a shit ton.
Yeah.
270 that you have, mostly you have tediously coded and put into this game.
So 85 more cards with up to 10 going live a week, maybe more, depending. But I think 10 is probably going to be the max that I can handle. So that would be 8-ish weeks.
So 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Woof.
Maybe a little faster. We'll see. You get quiet every time I stop to drink.
We finished the convo, and that's when you chose to drink. It's a coincidence.
Every time I want to talk, you're like, I want to talk too. And then every time I stop, you're like,
sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I got lightheaded out of nowhere.
She's dying.
That was weird. I got really lightheaded. I haven't even stood up or anything. So helpful. I haven't seen anything from Matano, did I?
Yeah, he's been working. He got a new job as well. I think what's happening, it's weird because the people we're used to seeing on stream, the people we're used to seeing playing certain hours of the game, they are starting to go back to work from quarantine, and it's screwing with my perception. Ventriloquisting for her. We are working on the new tutorial as well.
Yes.
Basically, as soon as I get, I'm trying to automate it a little bit, time-wise. So I'm trying to get 1 to 2 cards in per day. And if I manage to do that, then I take time to work on a new feature or the tutorial. So I'm trying to, make sure that the first priority is the Friday update, and then other stuff will come online over time with progress. We're also working on fleshing out the lore cards so that we have a whole bunch of lore cards that people can earn various ways in the game to collect. And then after that, the mission cards will go live as well.
You guys, someone is looking for a fight.
There's also
Someone jump in.
tweaks to the pack system to slightly change the distribution of how they work in regards to duplicates and ultra rares and stuff.
Deck templates, please.
We've been working on that.
Don't you guys have deck templates?
We do. I was thinking about maybe at this point, I don't think there's any harm in allowing people to publish their own decks. I know Thorgal's got a whole bunch of decks. So basically you would come into your deck, you'd click deck details, and there would be a button that says share this deck with the community. And as soon as you click that, everyone else will see it in the get new decks thing. What I really want to do is have a better UI that explains to people that like you can get this deck template, but it doesn't give you all the cards. Like it's going to confuse people where they think like, oh, I've got this deck, but why doesn't it work? That kind of thing. But I don't think there's any reason that we don't want to share. Custom templates, the every deck has cards. Do you mean like a starter template, so when you create a new deck it starts with those cards?
I'm like, I'm not sure.
Because I was thinking about how to do that, which would basically just be a deck template that would be a invalid
a base template.
Yeah, it would be an invalid deck, which might require some tweaks, but I'm not sure how to present that to the user, really. Like, if it just shows up here as base set, invalid, that might confuse people.
I don't understand. Why do I have a thing that's invalid?
Yeah, like I might be able to flag it as a base template, and then it would show up separately from the list.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to like categorize it differently.
We could put a button up here that says like show base templates. I don't know.
Shit,
I mean, it would work as is. I just worry that it would confuse some people to why they have an invalid deck sitting there. But that's definitely
It would definitely confuse people. I would think that was weird if I didn't know when I was playing a game and then I had something that was invalid. I'd be like, huh?
Yeah, but it's definitely something that I want to do too, Mad. I just have to solve that little UI problem.
Yeah. Yeah, because the decks exist, right? Like Thorgal has done tons of them.
I mean, you'd probably come in here and there'd probably be a button that says mark this as a template, but like not a deck template, because that's a different thing. Like mark this as... I don't know. Maybe like a partial deck.
Ugh.
Where you could like blend. Yeah. If anyone has ideas of how to present that to the user, like that's the tricky part.
That's interesting.
Deck hash instead of players can post their own, which will probably get flooded with drunk. Wait, deck hash instead of players
Posting their own.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the deck hash thing could work. We had a task a while back to try to develop like a true compressed hash where it was just like a tiny string that could recreate a deck similar to what Hearthstone does. But honestly, you're touching on why I don't have this public yet, is because you would suddenly just get like people publishing Mishma Greater 2 with one difference, and it would just be a bunch of crap. I was going to solve it with a voting system where people could vote, or you could sort it by the amount of wins that deck has. But then we're getting into like big data stuff.
Yeah, but you gotta code all that. Like
right.
That's a lot.
Res Violin.
Hi.
What's up, Res? An option when creating a new deck. So you're saying that you create a new deck and there would be an option for make this a partial deck or something.
Just save manually.
Yeah, and another reason I want to do that is kind of interesting. Classic Doomtrooper had the same 45 cards in every tournament deck. So if I allow you to create these core sets, you are basically giving me the statistic of the cards I need to nerf or move to other factions, which is a sad truth. Like if I run analytics and I see that everybody's base set is the same 30 cards, then most of those 30 cards will get moved to factions to allow more variety. Because we don't want a game where everybody's playing the same 45 cards. It's just, you guys will play for a week and you'll get bored and move on to something else. As much as you might think that it's bad to move it, like, I guarantee it's better. But yeah, an option when creating the deck, or I think there's no reason that we can't also put it in deck details later where you can toggle a switch. Big idea would, so yeah, Rez, Steve has said he wants to do that for a really long time, but I haven't got like a list yet. So we might have to make a topic on GitHub or on the discussion board and just start to get people to suggest and vote on cards that they think should move around. I think that might help Steve get his thoughts in order. Little external input, because I know he has a small list at least.
Said it was a good size.
But we wouldn't get rid of all neutral cards. You know, some neutral cards need to be there, but the ones that are really causing trouble, I think, would be better moved around. Like, now that we have varieties, like Young Guard can miscommunicate, Self-Sacrifice can miscommunicate, then Miscommunicate itself can miscommunicate. If we were to move miscommunication to, say, Cybertronic, people would riot at first, but then they'd realize that Cybertronic and Imperial have their own way, plus Self-Sacrifice has its own way. And then maybe we move Self-Sacrifice to Algaroth, so 3 of the 7 factions have miscommunicate still. It's not that big of a deal. It's just more thematic ways to cancel other cards. And then maybe the 2 or 3 of the other ones get their own miscommunication. And then there'll be thematic ways to do the same thing in all the factions but one. Like maybe Brotherhood and Algaroth don't get one, but they have powers. So they get all those other powers, but they lose the ability to interrupt and cancel a fate card. Could that work? Maybe. Augie, I would be the one not play the same 45 simply because I'm so bad at this game. I don't know your stats, so I can't say for sure, but there is an interesting trend I see whenever I check the stats. Like, I'll look right now, and our number 1 player has 300 wins.
Who's on this stream right now.
300 wins and 205 losses with 2 ties.
Bless you.
Ties are so rare, obviously. But his ratio is 59.09% win. And in terms of balancing, that's really good. If everybody had a 50 to 60% win rate, I would be extremely happy. But if I scroll down, you will see people... Where are they? There was one guy... This guy. There's one person, bless their heart...
They've lost 50
They have
times.
0 wins and 50 losses. That...
You can't tell from there if they're playing against the people or the...
Yeah.
The computer?
Well, not from the screen. So when I look at this, we have, let's see, about 75 people at the bottom of the ranking that have various numbers of losses and 0 wins. And that's, I guess, to be expected because with a small matchmaking pool, these people are playing against the top 10 players. And the top 10 players know the strategy and they're going to crush.
I have a question though. But so this page he's looking at a stats page. This is only games against other players. It doesn't count, like, it doesn't...
Yeah, this is the season.
Okay.
Too Mad, you have a 7.69% win rate, so bless your heart as well.
Are you, like, putting out tons of warriors on the board? Because that's like Hearthstone. It's like Magic the Gathering. Just get one powerful warrior.
There is one player that I'm investigating. I won't say who.
That's
but
interesting.
They have 50 wins, 0 losses. Only one player, and
they're not.
I mean, to be fair, Thorgal is commonly regarded as a top tier player, and he has a 78% win rate. So that's to be expected.
There's
if you
losses.
figure out the meta and you make a great deck and you dive in, like 78 is not out of the question. It means we need to balance a little better. The meta needs to come down to 60%, but a 100% win rate should never be possible. So it's possible that player is exploiting the ability to play private games. because if you play private games, we allow you to get your ranking, so you can just dual box your way to 100%. So if you're watching this and you know who you are and you're doing that, we are investigating that, and if it gets exploited too much further into the full launch of the game, it'll be disabled. Like, it won't last.
Yeah, we see this stuff. Willow, hi. I just wanted you to know that earlier in the chat, your Destiny icon was complimented.
Yeah. There's another person whom I'm very fond of. 182 wins and 384 losses. 32% win rate. That's a lot of games. Like, I have a lot of respect for people who love this game so much that they just keep going. And that means a lot to me. But yeah, the balance thing is definitely tricky. Too mad. Sometimes I get bored of getting stomped by top players to get my 10-10 with retreat. Right. I'm not entirely sure how to solve that. We are in the process of making some marketing deals so that we're looking...
Wheeling and dealing.
If I can get the new tutorial and the new player quest system in, which I can,
you're still here?
Sometime around July, we're going to basically be giving out, with everything that I'm thinking, probably like 50,000 codes for free stuff. So basically, there will be...
Get some fresh blood
You'll get
in
free
here.
packs, you'll get free exclusive cosmetics, and there'll be 4 to 5 different iterations of that you can collect.
Think of all the noobs you can play against, Chumad.
A lot of you guys will just find those codes because it won't be hard to find them, and you'll just get a bunch of free stuff, and it'll be awesome. But the hopes is that out of 50,000 codes, let's say 10% of those actively play the game. That's 5,000 new players.
So Flana already is a mod, or your thing that you did earlier went through?
Oh, it did?
Yeah, look, he's got a little mod symbol next to him.
Oh, yeah. Flana, you were modded, but I don't know if you heard me. So don't abuse your power. So 50 acquisition points a day is helping. Cool. Yeah, so if we get all those people in, I think a lot about this. Like, this is what prevents me from sleeping at night, but...
Yeah, I wish anything prevented you from sleeping at night, but you just...
I wake up every day at 3:43 a.m. for some reason with some crazy idea. But anyways, we need to... 50,000 codes out there will bring in thousands of new players. That's step one, right? Once they get in, we need to welcome them with... I'll just say Billy Bob's new tutorial, which will teach them the basics of the game. Also, they will be given a new player quest line, which will be 3 to 5 quests. And as you complete them, you'll get packs, you'll get cosmetics, you'll get variant cards. It'll introduce the reward system. After they finish that, over time, we'll have the single player faction wars, which will give them more decks, more free packs, more variant cards. That system will give 4 to 6 hours of them playing and learning the game. At which point, they have a bunch of packs to open, which is calculated into the 4 to 6 hours. But if they stuck around for 6 hours, they probably have enjoyed playing the game, which is great. Then they start dropping into more multiplayer games, and with the greater player base, they are more likely to trigger a new matchmaking algorithm that I will have that will match them to more new players. So Thorgals will get matched with more Solafines, and Two Mads will get launched with more
Other
noob mads. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like, yeah, you'll get matched with more people.
The matching is
that win ratio basically will calculate into your matchmaking algorithm, and you'll be playing more people your speed, which will slowly earn you more rewards
and make the experience more fun.
Yeah, and then that combined with the rare case where off hours does not have people in matchmaking, I do still plan on allowing you to play against bots. So if you are in matchmaking for 2 to 5 minutes and you don't find anybody, you'll get dropped into a bot game which will reward missions and stuff, so that you are able to complete your missions and play the game even if there isn't a ranked player to play against, which will help a lot of
And
people.
I don't remember who, maybe you do. That was a community suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked that, and we were like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because it's not your fault.
And lastly,
you know?
So 50 acquisition points a day is helping. So I've been saying this for a while, but I am changing that a little bit. Maybe I'll get to it this week, but like I said, cards are a priority, so my busyness is your gain in this case. So currently it requires you to log in And if you don't know, what we're talking about is as long as you've logged in the last 24 hours, you can come to the bot channel on our Discord, you can type a command, and they'll give you 50 crafting points a day. And a lot of you have been doing it every day, and that's awesome. That's going to change where if you haven't played a game in the last 24 hours, you can't just log in, close it, and get your acquisition points. You have to play. You will get more rewards. And if you've played, I'm still working it out, but let's say you've played 5 games in the last 24 hours, then there's a randomization that you can get something better than the acquisition points. So there'll be like a sliding scale where maybe you'll get 25 if you've played 1 game. If you've played 2 to 3, you get 50 points. If you played up to 5, you have a chance of getting a free pack or a rare cosmetic. I want to make the randomization part kind of fun for me and hopefully fun for you guys, where there'll be like a 2% chance if you've played 5 games that you'll get something super, super rare, like a shiny golden black and white full art variant card that you can only get from the bot, but like it'll be super, 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 super rare. And then there'll be other like rare but less rare stuff. So I want that to be more of a slot machine, which I think will be interesting. But more importantly, you'll have to play the game, because the goal is to get more people playing, because that's more people in matchmaking, which solves a lot of our problems. So that'll happen. Let's see, where are we at? Too Mad. Make a list of missing cards. Open packs till list can be bought. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That goes back to that template thing, though.
I had to vanish for a bit to compete in a tournament.
Yeah,
what kind of tournament?
Yeah.
I'm 50-50, and like some cosmetics, some people will rage over not getting 50 acquisition points.
Some people will rage over anything.
Yeah, they will. And to be fair, Too Mad, if it's a 2% chance of getting like a rare cosmetic, I could give you 50 points and the cosmetic. You know, like you've played 5 games a day, so you are like my beating heart. Like that's literally and figuratively. So who cares? You'll get 50 points and the cosmetic. Like, it's totally doable.
Oh, all right.
Esports
Semifinals.
Doom Guy, I didn't know you play VR.
Justin plays VR too.
I too play VR. We might have to link up. And side note, there is a tentative design forming for maybe mid 2022. Secret Cow Level taking a brief break from working on JavaScript-based game engines and making a small VR horror game. But I actually talked to Willow about helping with that, and I've been talking to John Peros, our audio guy, about making the music, and people seem into it. The idea is if you combined VR with Night Trap, if you're familiar with the classic Night Trap, if not, look it up, but it's... in the mid-90s, with CD-ROM games, we thought that we could make video games combined with full-motion video. So I want to do that same embarrassing concept and combine full-motion video.
Night Trap certainly is embarrassing.
Which means actors. I want real filmed actors, but combined with VR. It's supposed to be campy. That's the point. But basically, Night Trap mixed with VR with a little bit of something like Five Nights at Freddy's. Just like a little bit of Five Nights.
It looked like pseudo PG-13 porn. It
kind of
so
it kind of
weird,
was.
Though.
But then again, so one thing you need to know too, Matt, is pseudo PG-13 porn is kind of another name for most slasher genre movies. Like,
I guess that's
there's
true.
Always. So I did design a full motion video slasher game that is not this. I don't know that I'll ever get to it, but the 2 main characters. The 2 probably most popular characters were the football jock who takes his shirt off and shows his abs at any given instance. And you'll see that in every slasher film, which is PG-13 porn. And the other one was the, ditzy cheerleader who would take any opportunity to be in a bikini. Like that, those are tropes from classic horror films. So it's kind of like PG-13 porn no matter how you look at it. And then you always have... you have the quiet black dude that's always in a horror movie, and they always kill him first, which is a trope that hopefully we are moving past. And then you always have the nerdy librarian-esque girl who's pretty smart, like the Velma. Actually, just look at Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is all of the horror tropes with less sex. So that's a
no sex, I guess.
my coffee is kicked in, and let me note that one of my dream games to make, if anyone knows anyone who can help make this happen, 18 and plus, mature rated Scooby-Doo survival horror with a little bit of Dark Souls. How awesome would an adult Scooby-Doo horror game be? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we've talked about this.
That would
obviously they would never do that.
That would be the biggest game.
That IP, but yeah.
And the Jew dude, maybe.
I don't know if I feel like that's an archetype. I feel like a nerd dude might be more.
I think if you said the nerd dude was kind of stereotypical, a Jewish dude, like I could see that. Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods is fabulous. I love it.
Good movie.
Oh, Scrappy is banned from my... No, sorry. Scrappy is in my Scooby-Doo game, and he's the Drew Barrymore to my Scream. Like, he will be the first to... And that'll be the whole...
Spoiler!
The pot smoker. There's always the pot smoker, yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that one movie with Nicolas Cage where he never talks... Mandy? No, he talks in Mandy.
He definitely talks in Mandy.
With a little bit of Dark Souls. Yeah, I like horror... Like... Resident Evil 7 was great. Resident Evil 8 was great. And they actually fixed this problem. But Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, even 1 and 2, 2 and 3 remakes, all of those, it's this... You're encouraged not to die. And what I want in my survival horror is more death. And I will say I'm slowly playing Resident Evil 8 and 7 had this to an extent, but you don't die, but you get hurt badly in a surprising manner a lot. And that's what I want. I want to go around a corner and see 9-foot vampire chick right there in my face, dripping blood, stabbing me through the chest and I don't want to spoil anything else that she actually does in Resident Evil 8. But that surprising, like, oh my god, I cannot believe I just got my ass kicked while walking around a corner is what I mean by a little bit of Dark Souls.
I'd like to interrupt this convo to ask everybody to please follow us on Twitter. That's it. Please.
Just found out about the deconstruct and acquire, and that made it really cool. More focus on constructing decks. Yeah, I'm working on trying to figure out how to introduce that to players more. Like, you'll notice when you first open the collection, or you first open the game, or you first open lore cards, you get like a pop-up. I want to expand on that a little more, where it's just like explaining to you the first time you go in, like, hey, don't forget you can craft. Here are some points, kind of thing. Let's see. Jump scares that auto get you for a narrative wound. You don't even need the narrative wounds necessarily, but it can be jump scares that come out of nowhere, or jump scares that give you a actual wound, or Dark Souls-esque where you go around a corner and if you turn left, you die every time. So you start to learn, okay, I gotta turn right. And if you turn right, it's a different like cutscene, and then the you can survive, but it's scary. And then later you can turn left and it's okay. But this instance, this trigger, left is always death. And I'm okay with that. Because it trains you to go a different way, and it helps tell the story. Because you don't have to tell the story of what's to the left. You can only tell the story of what's to the right. And it lowers your budget, which would be great.
I've held my bladder as long as I possibly can. BRB.
We're after 12 here.
But yeah, just toss around in your brain adult Scooby-Doo game where you die or get dismembered all the time. And tell me that's not the coolest game concept you've never played. Because it covers all the bases. Like, you could even go further, and I heard this was actually pitched but canceled. You could make a adult Scooby-Doo horror movie. Like, that would be... Someone's gonna pick up on this, and you will know that I've been talking about this for 4 years. Someone's gonna make a rated R Scooby-Doo something, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. Like, the greatest thing you've ever seen. Oh. Scooby-Doo plus Hostel. Thanks, Steve. That might be a little too extreme. But I mean, I would still give it a shot for sure. But yeah, so acquisition points and crafting, I think, does make a huge difference, but I need to make sure people are aware of it and enhance the UI and the UX of the deck builder so that people can get in there. I mean, because currently when you come into the game, you don't really know anything about crafting except for what's up here, which is why I added it, but there should be more down here that helps you. The only way you know is by interacting with a card, and then you have these buttons down here. But I do think the system works really well. So props to me for making a system that mostly worked the first time. I say mostly because if you guys don't know this, the first version allowed you to craft debug cards, which are in the system. Like there was a card called Debug Kill Warrior, which just kills a warrior for free. It also allowed you to craft variant cards, which was bad because...
I've only been gone like a minute. How did you move over?
Because if you're crafting variant cards, you get to keep those post-launch. So you could just deconstruct all your cards, make variants, then reset your collection, do it again, make variants, and you would actually collect an infinite amount of variant cards. But that was rectified, and if you did that when you logged in, it was like, hey, took those away from you, gave you your points back. So, Scooby and the gang on the case of Jigsaw.
Not a single one of you followed us on Twitter.
Yeah, come on, people. She asked nicely.
We need this.
It's funny because at the end of our stream, when we get a lot more viewers, which is funny. I kind of feel like we're running a telethon. We're like, come on, people, just one more follower. Let's do this. Can we get one more? I use Twitter to share myself PS4. Hey, we'll take the follower still, though.
Yeah, I don't care what you use.
I will
Twitter
go and
for.
make a Twitter account just to follow. Doom Guy, if you have any desire to be in the game industry, I will go as far. Hot take.
Oh.
Your Twitter is more important than your LinkedIn.
What?
Maybe not for AAA.
Explain.
Not for AAA games, because obviously LinkedIn will be your resume. But every convention I've ever gone to, and I meet other indie developers, I have other publishers. For example, I met one of the head of marketing at Astro Gaming. Twitter. We're Twitter friends. It's always Twitter. When I met the guys at Filthy Casual and became friends with them, Twitter.
Okay, to be fair, Doom Guy, you don't really need a LinkedIn yet. You're not really quite there yet.
Just one more follower and she'll be able to get that gold leaf scarf. Hey, can you see his amazing bandana? We put it on for a photo and he didn't seem to mind, so we just left it. But yeah, Twitter is where the magic happens from an indie game standpoint. It's where you network. It's where you become friends. I mean, my friend Dave Oshry over at New Blood, like, I've had his phone number. I have his email address. I have his Discord, but we still just talk on Twitter. It's just how it goes. But I will say that Discord is rising up. So for all the past 5 years, it's all been about Twitter networking. But now more and more, I keep in touch with people on Discord. So
It'll be interesting once we do conventions again, if that's how the connections are done now.
Yeah. I had something else I was going to say. Probably about Scooby-Doo horror movies. Yeah, I do hope to update the bot, though. I was going to finish that thought to have the better rewards.
For already following. Sorry. Thank you.
He spelled do with 2 O's, like doo-doo.
I already do.
But yeah, I'm very excited.
I thought it was a reference to how we were talking about Scooby-Doo.
It probably was. Scooby-Doo horror in VR. That would be crazy. What was I? Oh, the bot thing. I like the idea of the bot giving more opportunities for engagement and free stuff. So I'm going to continue that. But I've been prioritizing the new cards. And I do kind of have. If anybody has any feedback in the future, I'll run it by you publicly. But in terms of the longevity of Secret Cow level, I'm leaning towards a tweak of all my original plans where sometime by next year, I will release 2 open source modules for JavaScript. One will be called something like the Cardinal Shell, and that will be a bare bones Electron application that it by itself can render an application inside, handle updates, handle asset updates, publish to Steam, and have plugins. So it's basically, if you want to make a game with Electron, don't install Electron, install this instead. And it'll give you a bunch of the foundation to make a game with Electron specifically. And then the second module...
All right, we're not doing this anymore with the trash can under your feet.
The second module would be called something like Cardinal UI. It would be an NPM module for any of you JavaScript nerds. And it would be a bunch of core 2D game-related React.js libraries. For example, the slide-in panel, this whole thing, and the side menu with the content, those would be part of it. The watermark at the bottom, the debug console, some image rendering, some parallaxing, The tile set that we used in Don't Go Out, if you wanted to make like a Legend of Zelda Final Fantasy game, a lot of that more difficult stuff we've made would be introduced into this open source module. So if you wanted to make a 2D JavaScript game, you could get the Cardinal shell, you could get the Cardinal UI, and you could start making a game for free. There would be a third module, which would be you drop into those two, that allows you to communicate with my backend server. The backend server would over time release more features that would handle matchmaking, multiplayer, user accounts, experience, rewards, cosmetics, like matchmaking being like the lobby system. All of the backend stuff that a lot of game developers don't have familiarity with. I would encourage you to use my backend, and it would start at $5 a month for like 2 developer accounts. And as you grow, you would pay a higher service. And it would also help you integrate Stripe payments, Bitcoin payments, NFTs eventually if that's your jam, or Steam Wallet. So all that stuff would come pre-packaged where you could focus on developing your game, and I would help you with all of your back-end stuff, which I think would be fun.
Phrasing!
Thank you, Buck. But here's the kicker. I will hire, hopefully my friend Dan, although he doesn't know it yet, to develop plugins.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
To develop plugins for Unity and Unreal. So the Unity Unreal plugins, you would drop them into your Unity or Unreal game, and they would give you all of the helpers, all the blueprints, all the functions you need to connect to my backend. So whether or not you want to make JavaScript games, which would be something I will always push, or you want to make Unity or Unreal games, we would have drop-in plugins to allow you to focus on your game and not worry about the backend and the servers and the APIs and the matchmaking and the networking and whatever non-funny phrase you want to use. But it would start with user accounts and cloud saves and leaderboards, and then we would add new features, over time as like a sub-product to complement Doomtrooper. And I imagine for sure if 4 years ago, someone offered me $5 a month to handle all this, I would have taken it. And I would have been done with Doomtrooper at least twice as fast.
Yeah, right.
So
back then you thought you could do it all.
So for you guys who want to make your own games, if there are any of you, being able to just focus on making a really great game and let me handle your cloud stuff might be real beneficial for both of us and allow me to continue working on my tools, which is what I really want to work on, other than Doomtrooper.
Thank you, Jeremy Henry, for the follow.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know who Starscraper is, but if it's one of you, thank you.
Oh, Starscraper is probably Mitchell. I don't know if Mitchell's here, though. Is Mitchell here?
I don't know. Somebody...
Yeah. Yeah. So I have this secret society of burned out indie game developers. If you fall into that category, feel free to hit me up for an invite. But you have to have either shipped something or have to have killed yourself over the last few years trying to ship something. Those are basically and you have to not be a bad person. Those are the real requirements. But we've got some really good people in there, and it's been really beneficial. We all support each other really well. We make really great games. And I don't think he's here, but if you are here, Mitchell, feel free to post a link to your game, because he just hit Steam, and if I had the link handy, I would post it. But
I don't know who this secret cow level bullshit account is.
Someone followed us called Secret Cow Level?
No. It's an account the Doom guy followed. Fuck these people.
Yeah, who is that?
Just random person using Secret Cow Level.
Random person using our name? That's not cool, bro.
Hold on here. We do have a Secret Cow Level account.
It's just Secret Cow Level.
Yeah, hold on.
Spelled out. Secret Cow Level, all spelled out.
Secret Cow Level. Boom. Boom. Boom.
You're making Julie really happy with these extra follow numbers. I've shipped 3 somethings as an employee, and now I just do simulation work. Define simulation work.
Secret Cow Level has 500 followers, and we don't even, nurture this account.
It's from the Dread Collection stuff, mostly.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, if it interests in you guys, the nerdy stuff, I plan on continuing on Secret Cow Level's account on Twitter. So programming blogs and stuff about JavaScript would be posted there, if not on my personal account.
It's usually on your personal account.
But I said plan. Doomtrooper eventually, though, like, I will be handing off to somebody else to tweet, and they will use their own voice to make that account its own. But Secret Cow Level is always going to be a little snarky, a little horror-influenced, a little techie.
Doom Guy, you can follow whoever you want. Don't worry about what I said.
So I like this Friday updates thing because it puts less stress on me on the weekend to finish stuff by Monday because there's always so much to do. But
you do follow a fake Secret Cow Level.
I am pushing a lot of smaller updates. If you are playing the game, you will see a lot of smaller updates. Anytime there's a little thing that I want to get out, I'm trying to get in the habit of not delaying them. If there's a hot fix, I'll try to get it out within a day instead of bundling a bunch of hot fixes together and then pushing it. Then it's less likely for me to have weird stuff break as well, which is nice. So I'm done.
Well, it is 12:20.
Trying to think if there was anything interesting life-wise. We are watching Community. And
I was going to say that.
Like a lot of people, the first couple episodes seem a little too campy, a little too weird, a little too whatever.
Overacted was my issue.
Yeah,
Our hairstylist said the same thing. He's like, no, I only watched like 2 episodes of it.
But if you keep watching Community,
it's worth it.
There is so much meta in that show and so many long-running jokes that are so...
First season is hard to watch. I wouldn't say it's the whole season. I think
the first half of the first season.
I think you just have to get into the style of it because, again, I thought it was hokey as hell. I only watched a couple episodes and I was like, this is so overacted.
Yeah, but it's really... There's so much meta, like...
Oops, I heard The Office. No, I don't. I actually don't like The Office.
No. There's a thing that made me want to watch it. And
paintball episodes!
And I'll share it with you guys. Rez, it is good, but the first couple episodes I think are just... They don't have their tone yet. They haven't nailed it.
Paintball episodes, I'm sorry. The paintball episodes are so good and so ridiculous. And the whole show is ridiculous. But the paintball ones, I'm just like...
I was just going to say, the thing that made me want to watch Community, other than having a man crush on Donald Glover and wanting to see how bad Chevy Chase really was I watched a YouTube video once of... I think it's over 2 seasons in 3 different episodes. Oh. They say the word Beetlejuice. And after... I mean, anyone who... That's all I'll say. But if you know anything about Beetlejuice and you know anything about saying his name 3 times...
No, I think it's worth it to just tell the joke. These people they don't like the show. It's the kind of show that has jokes that they don't explain to you. They just happen. You miss them, you miss them.
Yeah.
They say Beetlejuice 3 times. On the 3rd time, in the background, you could miss it if you're not looking. Beetlejuice walks by. It's worth it.
Yeah. And there's an episode where one of the characters has an entire plot, but in the blurry background, and you don't really notice
easily
it.
Could miss it if you're just not looking. Like, you could not see it.
Stuff like that. It's like very Arrested Development.
They're playing the long game on some jokes, and then I love that some shit's just not explained to you. If you're not paying attention, which I'm frequently not. Justin has to rewind it for me all the time. He's always like, did you see that? Did you miss it? And I'm like, yeah.
And then the my derailed coffee.
Uh-oh. I kind of did too. My mind just went like blank. I'm just like, ha, paintball.
I was thinking about. I was gonna say. I didn't know. I knew it was Dan Harmon created, and we're big Rick and Morty fans now.
Rick and Morty fans.
But I didn't know it was the Russo brothers. So the guys who directed the Avengers finale movies were creators, producers / directors of Community.
Seemed like BFFs.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
so, super cool. Cool.
Cool.
And lastly, if any of you guys are making small game projects and you think the back-end networking server thing would be something that would help you in some fashion, definitely hit me up, because as I get to that point, I want some small projects, even projects that never get released, to get free access to help me build it and flesh it out and stuff like that. So
yeah, Steve, I think the last season is on it's not on the network the first 5 were on, and I believe
it's on Netflix now.
Donald Glover and Chevy are not in that last season that you're talking about.
Yeah, Steve, it was finally added to Netflix, I think, in 2021, if I remember correctly. So you can watch it all in one place. So you don't have to go to Yahoo Streamers or whatever it is. Yeah. All right. Lunchtime.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for hanging out. I wish I had more bugs and crashes to talk about, but
I'm glad you don't.
Things are, for the most part, getting a lot better. It's just we funneled all of the problems down to the client, and that's why we're seeing a couple more actual crashes for the first time. So I
know what I was going to say.
Working through those.
When I worked at Live Nation years ago, I think it must have been like 2010, 2011 when Community was on. We had the whole building except the 8th floor, and this PR company had the 8th floor, and they had like celebrities would go to this company all the time, and I was in the fucking elevator with Joel McHale one day, and I remember just being like, you know, it's always act cool, and I never say anything to them. They already have big enough egos. I don't talk to them, but I was just like inside, I was like, oh, I'm really short, I'm only 5 feet tall, he's super tall, he's over 6 feet tall, and he's super fucking handsome. And I remember just standing there and being like, I think I was on the 4th floor, so he was going to 8, so I was just like, oh my god. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody cares how many floors you spent ogling Joel McHale.
4 floors of bliss, you guys.
Thank you guys for hanging out this week. I am going to go not cook my wife lunch.
Oh, stop it.
I'm going to let
He's
Joel...
not even like the jealous type.
I'm going to let Joel McHale make her lunch.
If only. If only.
But yeah, I always say this. Maybe we'll do some programming streams. Maybe not. But either way, we'll be back next Sunday to hang out. And, you know, if things continue being slow, it's just like, hey guys, game is solid. Lots of players. Added new cards.
Let's talk more about Joel McHale.
We'll either talk more about Community, or maybe I'll start challenging some people for some prizes, which has always been the plan.
Like, you mean you'll play?
You know, like I'll play live on stream, and if you win, you get a reward. Maybe we'll get to that. Doom Guy, I apologize. I owe you a feedback on the new experience point system. Michael, if you're still here, I apologize. I owe you feedback on the new lore cards you were trying to help with. And that will happen soon, I promise. But for now, I'm going to go eat or take a nap with my dog.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys on Discord or in-game.